Hey everyone, I'm Sean Duhamel. Welcome back to the Mass Retirees Weekly Update. Today's Friday, January 28th. Thank you so much for joining with us again this week. Now, this week kicked off the official start of the state budget process here in Massachusetts. On Wednesday, Governor Baker filed his fiscal year 23 budget proposal. Now, this will be the 8th and final budget filed by Charlie Baker. As you may know, late last fall, Governor Baker and Lieutenant Governor Polito announced that they would not seek re-election to a third term. So it's now an open seat. So the governor will be serving out the remainder of this year, and next January we'll have a new governor here in Massachusetts, and we'll be talking about that more in the weeks and months ahead. But for now, we're focused on the current fiscal year, or the upcoming fiscal year. The legislative process runs through the end of July this year. But this week, as I said, kicked off the official start of the budget process. And we're very grateful and thankful to Governor Baker that for the 8th time, he has included a 3% COLA for state and teacher retirees and has maintained the current $13,000 base once again. In addition to that, the governor has also fully funded the state's group insurance commission and maintained the insurance contribution rates for state retirees and active state employees. So these are all positive moves that are beneficial to current retirees as well as active employees. Now, where the governor stopped short, however, is making any recommendations to improve or change the COLA. And as you know, over the last several months, we have been talking a great deal about the need and the ability to improve COLA benefits here in Massachusetts. Now, 2021, as we've been saying, will be the third consecutive year of double-digit investment returns across most retirement systems here in Massachusetts. In early February, we'll have a better idea of exactly how well we did last year. But as I reported last week, the anticipation is that most of the systems will have earned in the upper teens or maybe even the low 20s for 2021. So they've been very successful. And again, we believe that some of that success should be shared with you, the retirees who are the beneficiaries of the retirement systems. But the governor stopped short of making any recommendations for those changes. And at this point in time, we don't know for sure what the governor's position is on these issues, but we will be trying to work with him and his administration as we go forward to gain his support and to hopefully help get him behind what we're trying to do. And I might point out that when the governor was Secretary Baker, serving under Bill Weld, he played an instrumental role back in 1997. The dates somehow just fly by. 1997, when our association passed what's known as the landmark COLA Reform Law, Chapter 17. Governor Baker at that time was Secretary of Administration and Finance. He, along with Governor Weld, supported this initiative back then and helped us get to the point that we're at today, and we'll be forever grateful for his support and his assistance, and history has proven that that was the right move. Well, we are now taking steps to further improve those benefits as we've been explaining, and in today's email to all of you, I also break down exactly what it is we're looking for through this legislative process. And in that regard, we are actively working with the state legislative leadership from both parties, starting with the Ways and Means committees and their staff, all the way through the rank and file legislators, spelling out exactly what it is we're looking for through this budget process, which really comes down to a handful of pretty basic principles. First of all, pay the full 5.9 CPI COLA for FY23. Secondly, increase the state and teacher COLA base beyond the current $13,000 level up to $16,000. Now, we would love to see that benefit extend beyond $16,000, but as we have been explaining, the way that our pension systems are funded and structured only allows for us to make incremental benefit increases when it comes to the COLA base, because the funding for these benefit increases must be generated from within the retirement system by and large. So we're a little bit handcuffed, if you will, of just how far we can go with all of these things. But we believe that we can make meaningful change. We also would like to see our senior COLA or the enhanced COLA proposal move forward, and this will benefit long-term retirees whose pensions are at or below the average for your particular retirement system. And finally, for the local level, we want the ability for our local retirement boards, if they choose to vote to be able to approve the full 5.9% CPI COLA for FY23. So these are the types of things that we're talking to the legislature about. We believe that we're making progress, and we'll have more to say about these things in the coming weeks and months leading up to later in April, when the House of Representatives takes up their version of the budget, followed by the state Senate sometime in the middle of May. And then ultimately the budget hopefully will be signed into law by Governor Baker sometime around the start of the new fiscal year on July 1st. Now, in the upcoming weeks, we're going to have a lot to report on, most likely, when it comes to our overall legislative package. The legislature right now is really gearing up for what's going to come over the next several months. As I mentioned, the legislative session, the formal legislative session, comes to an end at the end of July this year. So we're now really only working on another 6 months or so of active formal legislative activity. So our legislation that's now pending before the Public Service Committee or by Healthcare Finance or the Veterans Committee, all of these bills, if they're going to move, we're going to start to see some activity on these various proposals over the next few weeks or a month or so. So as there is news to report, we're going to be reporting it back to you. So continue to watch our social media, our website, and certainly these Friday updates from me that we'll be sharing any breaking news information with you. In addition, over the next couple of weeks, Frank Valeri and myself, along with our overall legislative team, we're going to be engaged in a series of meetings with our national partners as well as our congressional sponsors of our Social Security windfall elimination reform proposals. Our focus at the national level is to be able to pass into law this year meaningful reform of the windfall elimination provision that would provide immediate relief to those of you who are impacted by the windfall elimination provision. Now, of course, this fits into the long-term plan and long-term goal shared by many people universally across the public employee unions and retiree organizations of fully repealing the WEP and the GPO. But as we've been explaining, we do not believe that 2022 is the year for full repeal to actually come together. But we need to be able to make intermittent steps to provide relief to those of you who are suffering from the impact of this devastating law. So we're putting our full effort into those efforts at the national level at the same time that we're working on these things here in Massachusetts. And as we have new information to report to you, we'll be getting that out as soon as it happens. But in the meantime, please refer back to the January edition of our newsletter, The Voice. The article that's in the newsletter, it starts right on the front page. It talks about WEP and GPO repeal and or reform. That article contains the most up-to-date, comprehensive information on these two issues that is really available anywhere. So refer to that article. Hopefully it answers your questions about the various proposals, what we anticipate happening, what we see as vehicles to move this forward and to be successful this year. And then when we have additional information over the coming weeks, we'll be sure to share that with you directly. But for now, I want to thank you again for tuning in today. We'll be back to you again next Friday, which I believe is February 5th, the day before my mom's birthday on the 6th. Mom, if you're watching this, happy early birthday. I'll wish you a full happy birthday next week. But again, thank you so much for tuning in. Stay safe, and we'll be back to you again very soon. Bye-bye for now.